Can spirits from haunted locations reach through time and space and communicate with me here in my home? Well, we're about to find out because you guys sent me your videos and your photos, and I picked one to sit here and connect with and see if we can get any amazing answers through the SB7 Spirit Box. Let's get into it. And I told you guys that if you had some photos or videos that you'd like me to check out and put on my channel, that I would do that. So I'm literally putting that together. I had such an outpouring and such a response to that it's going up. So no particular order, no particular importance. They're just cool, and I thought that everybody should see them. If you have a photo or a video that you'd like to submit to me to review on the channel and check out, you can tell me like a little story about it. Let me know what you think it is, and we'll take a look at it and put it up on this channel. If you want to do that, it's Scotty, SCOTTY, njmedium@gmail.com. Just put subject line like ghost photo or something so I know to look at it, okay? And without further ado, hit the subscribe button, and then we're going to get into these photographs from you guys today. Let's check them out. Okay, so these are honest to goodness looks at your photos and stuff that you sent, okay? So this first one, by the way, I apologize. I'm going to keep everybody like anonymous. And if you want your name said, you can just put it down in the comments and identify the photo that you send me. And in the future, for anybody who does send me an email with your pictures or videos, please do me a favor. Let me know if you want to be identified or not. That's up to you. I got no problem with letting everybody know who sent it if it's okay with you. So the first one is coming to us, and it says, so while you're looking at this, it says, this is a photo taken in 2009 of an apartment I was renting. I had lost my home in a fire previously. Sorry to hear that. They asked just to say that the photograph was taken for non-paranormal reasons. Okay. Now, I looked at this and I got this like strange feeling, and I'm going to use a word that you may not have heard before. Maybe you have. A jinn. So I looked at this photo and I saw that it's like a little bit of a weird pink color in the middle there. And I just felt like this feeling of a jinn. And then I was looking and I said, oh, she did say that she lost her last home in a fire, which is pretty synonymous with jinn. They're tricksters. They could be mischievous. Some might say even evil. That's up to them. Interpretation, however you feel about it. So from there, she says, I'm going to include a close-up now, and I'll include a close-up here for everybody. And I didn't see this. I'm glad she sent this because I didn't look further than the pink mist. But beyond it, in the back, there's a strange shape. Now, it looks like there's a closet with some other things happening here, so it might just be some pareidolia, but it could be something paranormal. And as we're looking at this, I just want to tell you, this is kind of what jinn look like to me. They're kind of small. They're very creepy and kind of misshapen and stuff, and they're pretty unmistakable once you see one. So this is kind of what they look like. So my first impression of jinn seems to be right on. Now let me read you what she says while you're looking at this. I took this picture on a flip phone, so thanks for including that. So we know there was no AI or software trying to make a photograph, but it also was probably like a 8 megapixel camera at best maybe. So she says, it's my original picture, so I know there's no funny stuff. This apartment had a bedroom off the dining room that nobody wanted to sleep in. Only one of my children would stay in it. She talked about glowing red eyes and the voices, which everyone stayed out of that stayed in that room had heard, as well as feeling watched. I couldn't walk past the door without closing it first. I always felt like I was being chased as soon as I passed it. That's creepy as we're looking at this picture, right? I experienced moving hangers, alarm clocks going off that were not set. That sounds like what happened to me in the Buffalo Hotel. The hangers got hit and an alarm clock kept going off, which is very jinn-like activity. Oh, I hope we're not solving another mystery here. Or maybe we are. So this says, the man that I was with at the time was struck in the head. He was skeptic until that moment. That's crazy. My other daughter was playing flute when my mom's phone captured white wisps going around her flute. We lived in this apartment for 4 years. It was actually the bottom level of the basement of a house. They put an apartment on the back area. We had a huge sliding pocket doors. Okay. So that's kind of the area that they were living in. So we know in the paranormal, or at least we think a pattern that we recognize, is that spirits like to go to the highest and the lowest levels in any place because it's less inhabited by the living. So it makes sense. Thank you very much for sending these photos in. Hey, you guys watching, what do you think? Is this a jinn? Could it be something else? Okay, this next one is a video, and it is an IR security camera video. Okay, I see these all the time, and I'm going to give you an honest explanation of what this probably is. So let's watch it once together. Okay, now that you've watched it, what do you think? Is it a ghost or something else? I'm going to tell you what I think it is. I think that this is a spider that is dangling from a small web. For people who don't know, sometimes there are spiders that shoot a little web up into the air and they glide along, and that's how they get through the air. So what it looks like to me is that if you watch this, you can watch it from left to right as it travels across the screen, and you can see the wisp, and then you can see it looks like something's climbing up it. So I think that that's just the spider. I don't think that's paranormal. But thank you for sending the video. It was very cool, and I do appreciate the submission. Let's get on to the next one. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at somebody's backyard and some photos that they took. This was probably taken with a cell phone. As a matter of fact, let's look and see if it says, some photos of our backyard taken one right after another picked up a very bright green orb in number 1 and 4 and none others. Just trying something out, could not see in live eyesight, and surprised what I caught. Too cold and early in the season for lightning bugs. Tried to debunk but could not duplicate. Can you pick anything up? Sure. So as we're looking at these photos, I see these a lot too, and this is for educational purposes. First off, thank you very much for sending these. Number 2, thank you for trying to debunk them. That's the right thing to do, because jumping to conclusions about this could set you into a panic. So what you're seeing is actually a lens flare, believe it or not. And I can see that you took this in low light, but even then, the light from the moon is hitting the lens of your camera, and it is creating that lens flare. And the reason why the green light moves or sometimes isn't there is just dependent on the angle of how you're holding the device in front of you. So many smartphones have that same exact lens flare. It's green. Sometimes it's blue, but most of the time it is a green lens flare. And you can almost always line it up with lights inside of the photograph. So that could either be the light from the moon or from whatever that structure is back there with the two orange lights creating the lens flare. So that's a really good photograph for learning purposes. As I hopefully I've shifted this over to number 4 already. So you can see in picture number 4 that the green light has moved with the angle of your camera, and then actually the structure of that the structure in the background there has the 2 lights, and if you look up to the right in the tree there, the tree looks like it has glowing eyes, and that's because that's the lens flare from there. So that's my opinion. You don't have to take my word for it, but that after I look at pictures all day long like this, people send to me. So thank you for submitting it. It's a really good learning tool for a lot of people to understand that that's what that is here in the world of the paranormal. Thanks for the submission, though. I appreciate you. Okay, this next photo is one of those ones that the longer you look at it, the scarier it is. I've been staring at it for about 2 or 3 minutes now, just trying to understand what I'm looking at with the information I was given. So here's what our sender says. Hey Scotty, I was wondering if you what you thought about this picture. It was taken 3 years ago on a baby monitor. My daughter was 3 at the time, and it was right at her feet on her bed. Thanks for your help. Okay, so if you don't already see what is happening here, because it took me a minute, this looks like an extreme close-up of what we're looking at. So you can see what looks to be like a door and a doorknob in the back there. But then, as you're looking at this is either extreme pareidolia or there's some other thing happening here. But what do you guys see? I see what looks like at least one face with some crazy looking hair. It actually looks like Vegeta from Dragon Ball. I'll put a picture of him here so you can see. We'll put it over it. So not to make light of that, but that's kind of what it looks like. If I saw this at my child's feet, I would definitely go investigate it. But these cameras like this are so bad in the low light, and we don't know how much AI technology is built into them anymore. So a lot of times cameras like this and our phone cameras do their best to make pictures look better, and they have software built into them to bring out the facial features of people, right? So it makes us look better or more clear, or maybe look more old and more fat, depending on who you are in the world. So we don't know if that's what's happening here. That's my guess, unless there were more things that happened here that you'd like to disclose. Like if there were other things, so the totality of the circumstance, right? So if you caught this face, the baby's being super fussy, but only in that room. The room has, weird sounds that happen in it, things are moved, those kinds of things that we could build a case up around and understand what's going on there. I'd love to know more. So if you have more about this situation, I'd love to hear it. And I'd like to hear what else was going on, because this is one of those photos, the longer you look at it, the scarier it is. Thanks for the submission. Appreciate it. Okay, this next one is pretty interesting, and it involves a cell phone possibly taking a picture by itself. Let's read what was sent to us by our sender, and then we will look at the photograph, okay? As a matter of fact, Scotty put that photograph right up here. I want everybody to see it. First off, great shirt choice. So this says, "My friend and I explored a house that was known to be haunted. Sadly, it has been demolished since then. We went to explore it in 2016. It was called the Spencer Mountain Mansion. I've attached a photo of the front of the house." Put that right there for you. It's spooky, right? It looks haunted, honestly. This is one of those places you look at and you're like, that's probably haunted. All right, so especially that top window, right? That's scary. Okay, what makes the photo I'm sending very strange is that we agreed that we would let each other know when we were going to take a picture of each other. So her and her friend, the person who sent this to me is not in the photograph. This is a picture of the friend, okay? And they made an agreement. I will not take a photo of you unless I'm telling you, and vice versa, right? So we know that already she's telling us this is strange because this photo exists and it shouldn't, okay? This picture was from my cell phone. I did not take the pic. It looks as though the phone, which I have an open closed case carrier with a small strap, may have been hanging from my hand and somehow opened to take a picture at a slightly upward angle. I honest to God promise to this day I never took this pic knowingly. That this was behind the house before we entered the house." So just like as a reference, I got my SB7 here, which I have out for a reason, and I'll explain it here in a second. So she was saying that she had a phone attached to her like this, and it was dangling, but not only was it in a case and dangling, but it also was the kind that you have to open up like this and close it. And somehow this phone managed to have the case opened and be pointed at a good angle and get the shutter button touched to take this picture. So that's highly unlikely, although not impossible, right? So I'm going to read on here. This is great. Thank you for sending this. The other weird thing about this photo is the strange anomaly on the right side of the picture, which I noticed when I looked at it on my computer screen. It looks like it's in the woods or right next to her. She had told me that she thought there was a graveyard back in those woods as well. Could this entity have taken a picture of itself? That's interesting. I like that train of thought. And this part is sad. As also, I'd like to add that sadly, my best friend here in the photo has passed away in 2020, and she blurred her identity to respect her privacy. We're sorry for your loss. If I'm allowing my phone to dangle from a strap, it would swing back and forth. The image would come out wavy or blurry. That's why I'm on the fence about it. So that's where I would be with that, right? So let's do something we have never done before. Okay, so this is an experiment, and I am going to open up as a medium, and I'm going to call to these spirits, at the Spencer Mountain Mansion. It has since been demolished, but we're going to call to that energy and that spirit and see if anybody there would like to come through and say hello to us through the SB7. Okay? This is awesome. This has never been done. I'm sure of it. All right, so we're going to turn our SB7 on. And we are going to sweep in reverse. And let's see if we can come up with anybody from this place. To the spirits and the ghosts at Spencer Mountain Mansion, can you come through and say hello? 4? Is that how many spirits are there? 4 again! Okay, to the 4 spirits who are connecting with us right now. Do you recognize this photo? Sounded like a yes. Do you recognize the women in this photo? Do you recognize the woman in this photo? Did you take this photograph? Scan? Do you know how... Oh. Sweep in reverse. Did you know how to use this phone to take a photograph? Can you tell me the name of the spirit that we're speaking with? Scary? Can you tell me the name? Gentleman? Okay. Are you the gentleman of the castle? Yeah. Who is the Spencer Mountain Mansion named after? Are you sad they tore your house down? They're evil? Are you happy that we're talking with you? Before I ask you to leave, is there anything else you'd like to say? I don't know what they said, but they said something. Okay. To the spirits of the Spencer Mountain Mansion, thank you for coming in and hopefully communicating something with us through our box. That was pretty cool. I can't wait to go back. By now, I'll have already reviewed this, but I'm saying it now because I can't wait to go back and look and see what we might have caught. Thank you very much for sending this in. It gave me such a unique idea of wanting to see if we connect with spirits from that particular area and see what we could come up with, even from right here, because energy is everywhere and time is sort of, hey, not to sound cliche, but it's sort of an illusion. It doesn't really exist, right? So that was really cool. I think we got some answers there. Okay. If you like this sort of content and you want more of it just like this, again, send your photographs to me, scottynjmedium@gmail.com, or your videos. Give me a little bit of context because I'm not doing photo readings for this. There might be another series where we do that. If you want me to do photo readings, let me know. Send me an email, leave a comment, whatever, and maybe we'll make that a series too. I think that would be really fun to do. In the meantime, if you haven't yet, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Remember, for me, no baloney here. We just like to try to do different kinds of experiments, have a good time, include you guys, my amazing audience, and really just try to have a good time with all of the things that we're doing here in the paranormal. Thank you very much for being here with me. I appreciate you. I hope to see you in our next set of videos. Until then, toodles. Toodles. Who says toodles anymore?